had this moment more recently where I feel like for the first time in a long time, I can comfortably say that I'm the most confident I've ever been in my skin, blemishes and all. Hey, I'm Hailee Steinfeld and I'm here with Elle talking about my beauty truths. I have struggled with acne for, what feels like forever. When I started working was when I started to become more aware of it because other people became aware of it at the same time, which is never an easy thing to sort of figure out how to feel or figure out how to sort of cover that up in front of the world. I had an experience once. I was working on a film where it was scripted that the character I was playing had acne. It was a very specific moment that it was being shown and the character was responding to it. And I was getting ready that day in the hair and makeup trailer, and the makeup artist said something along the lines of, "Oh, this is great, your skin is great the way it is, we don't have to add anything." And I remember being like, is it great? Because that doesn't feel like what I want to hear. And it was, a moment like that where I was like, I'm literally playing a character that has really bad skin, and they say my face works perfectly for that. I've overheard makeup artists, talking to script supervisors, sort of flagging certain shots or angles that show my skin in a particularly bad light. And again, it's just when you kind of hear other people sort of bringing it to your attention, it's already something that I'm well aware of. And I think skin is such a personal thing, and something as small as a blemish in the middle of your forehead can really feel like the end of the world at times. Oh, I would definitely be lying if I said that it hasn't affected my self-esteem. Sometimes I'll feel like, I'm gonna have my makeup done, it won't even matter, it'll be covered up. But then sometimes I've also felt like wearing makeup almost accentuates it more and brings more attention to it. And then I feel like, well, I'm trying to cover it up, can you see it more? Yeah, when it comes time to walk a red carpet, it's frustrating. It's like I'm on what feels like a never-ending journey with my skin, and caught me on a good day, let me tell you. My skin knew we were gonna be talking about this, and it decided to just show up. But I feel like my skin is so easily affected by so many things, including the number one thing, which is stress. Traveling, and of course wearing makeup, performing, working, they're all factors that play into my skin and how it changes. So yeah, when it comes to walking a red carpet, it's tough because I'll do whatever I can leading up to try and fix it. It's never an overnight fix. A few years back, I was getting ready for the Met Gala, and a couple weeks in advance, I was like, oh, if only my skin could just be and look the way I would love for it to. But of course, it doesn't work like that. So leading up to, I was, seeing dermatologists, getting facials, and just knowing that this huge event is coming up, and there are more eyeballs on that carpet than any other, and you want to be nothing but confident in your own skin on that carpet, of any carpet. And I just remember the night before, I was having treatments and facials and the day of, and it still really didn't get to where I necessarily wanted it to. And I think what I've realized is it is a journey, it is a process. We are all human, and it is natural, and sometimes that's hard to accept, especially when you're like, I've got this event, everything is in order, I've got the perfect team around me, the perfect outfit, the perfect opportunity, and then you just feel like that's kind of the one thing holding you back. It's a vicious cycle of feeling like, oh, well, your breakouts are caused by stress. Well, then of course I'm stressed out about the fact that that's happening, and that doesn't help me. It's that sort of thing when somebody says, don't stress. It's like, how do you tell somebody who's so stressed not to stress? It's like the worst thing to say to that person. But I definitely feel like it is that sort of vicious cycle. And I will say, since quarantine started, I've actually had time to relax and de-stress. And I do feel like I've seen improvement in my skin just by taking the time to focus on me and eat clean food, drink a lot of water, stay as active as I can, as safely as possible. The stress management is a real thing. It's definitely difficult and has been difficult for me scrolling through my phone and seeing all of these images that are perfect, whether they're face-tuned or photoshopped or not, it feels like everything that we see is quite literally perfect. I've even seen photos of myself that look perfect when I know that they're not. And so that's always been something I've also struggled with, in a sense where I see these photos and I know they're not the way they look, but that's all I see is the way they look, and they're perfect. And it's just, it's a mind game. It's a very tricky mind game, but it is definitely difficult to feel like that's all that is normal. Is this perfectly face-tuned, photoshopped, that we can all achieve, by the way, which is also kind of scary, but it's not real. I mean, I'm so lucky. I work with the most incredible hair and makeup artists that can make me feel like those photos are real, and sometimes they are, and it's a wonderful feeling, but it's not always like that. And I think it's important to remember that, you know, that doesn't always exist 100% of the time. I feel like I've literally turned to anyone and everyone, from the makeup artists that I've worked with to friends of mine, family members, just like both what do I do or how do I deal with what this is. I feel like I've even been that person that has seen someone that I don't even know who has perfect skin and will ask them about it. Now that I think about it, I don't know that I've done anything too crazy, but I definitely feel like, again, I'll read that like celery juice is what will make your skin glow for the rest of time. And I drank celery juice for so damn long. I mean, it's not like horrible by any means, but when it's not working, it tastes terrible, okay? I had a couple friends like swear by it, and it just didn't work for me. I stuck with that actually quite long, longer than I thought. I gave it a real shot, you know, desperate times. But I've finally found like a good regimen for myself, and I've realized too that a skincare routine doesn't have to consist of 20 different steps. At one point had that, I felt like I had to have all of the things and I was doing everything the most, and that wasn't working for me. What I've loved doing is educating myself on exactly what I am using and the ingredients and the products that I'm using on my skin, and I feel like the fewer, the better. I think it's incredible always when other people share their stories, you know, as far as their struggles internally, externally, and, you know, really share what they're going through. I think it's only fair that if we show the great, we have to show the not so great, because like I said before, it exists and it's okay. We're all human. I've in my head let it define me in some ways, and I think that I surround myself with people who love me for me. I do what I love because it's something that I love to do. It's tough not to, you know, find a comment here or there or overhear somebody speaking about my skin like I had mentioned before. But I think just realizing that it is what it is, and it comes in waves, and I'm like, again, on a high right now. My skin is doing great. I feel really good. I feel confident and happy, and I'm taking care of myself, and as long as I can continue to do that, then maybe this streak will last longer than it has before.